Sonic Racing CrossWorlds seems to let pretty much anybody into their game, with Sega letting IPs like SpongeBob SquarePants all the way up to Evangelion into their game. It seems there truly isn't a limit on who or what will get added to Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, so with Sega announcing an entire second year of DLC coming to Sonic Racing, the question stands, who else is coming to the game? Well, from what we've seen in CrossWorlds and other franchises that Sonic and Sega seem to be pretty close with, as well as just general audience hype, here are my predictions and picks for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds as Wave 2. Now, starting off strong, we have Transformers. This is one I would personally love to see come to the game. Sonic and Transformers do actually have a history, as Sonic and Tails both have their own Transformers figures. Being named Blue Booster for Sonic and Wingtail for Tails, they were released as figures that could be a Transformerified version of Sonic and Tails, or Sonic Speedstar and Tails' Tornado. Some genuinely really cool figures and incredible details are put into them all around the board, so with this history of Sonic and Transformers working together in the past, and this game being a racing game with, you know, cars, it feels pretty fitting for Transformers to at some point eventually end up in this game. The only question with it is, how would they make it work? Would Optimus Prime, who is a car, have to sit in a car to drive, or would the Transformers be the cars? If you have any ideas on how they could make Transformers work without it being too cursed, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, as I think they have a solid chance of making it in. Next up is DC. Now, I already touched on this in a previous video of mine, but I feel like this one is kinda confirmed at this point. As announced all the way back in around 2024, DC and Sonic were going to be having a new crossover partnership that teams up DC's Justice League with Sonic the Hedgehog and Team Sonic. This came in a lot of ways, being a bunch of action figures of Sonic characters in DC clothes, and even an entire comic series around their worlds clashing. This collab has been going on for a long time and is still ongoing as of right now, with some new comics and new figures occasionally getting released and revealed quite recently, showing that the two brands are close. Does it sound crazy for DC to maybe let Batman and Superman take a little drive in CrossWorlds when they're this close with Sega? To me, it really doesn't. Now, this one is just kind of something that me personally, I'd like to see happen. There's not really anything that I can think of that's hinted this, but I want it to happen. Lego and Sonic have a lot of sets out there, with them still releasing new ones, and it's seeming to be a pretty strong partnership between the two. They did release Lego Sonic skins for the crew in Sonic Superstars, so there being a couple Lego versions of the Sonic cast would be a really nice DLC option to choose from. And if they don't want to make Lego editions of Sonic characters, they could even settle for figures from their other Lego franchises, stuff like the Lego Movie or even Lego Ninjago. And there could be an entire Lego brick built track similar to the Minecraft one. The driver sounds when they do tricks and jumps could be little clicking Lego brick noises. Come on, you can see I've thought about this one. Now, this next one is one that I've actually put quite a bit of thought into, and one that has been rejected and said will not be coming to the game in the past, but with the change in circumstances, I totally think could happen, and that is the Sonic movies. Now, hear me out. Originally, there was a question of whether movie characters would make their way into CrossWorlds when it was first coming out. Seeing Movie Sonic and Movie Shadow drive realistic motorbikes and vehicles was something a lot of people wanted, myself included, but Sega did officially come out and say that it wouldn't be happening. But the reason for this being that there simply wasn't a new Sonic movie project releasing at a close enough time for there to be DLC to promote it. That's why Sonic X Shadow Generations got a Tokyo Movie Shadow DLC, since the third Sonic movie wasn't too far away from dropping. It was a cool stage for the fans and also got the word out that Sonic Movie 3 was dropping soon. However, with another year of CrossWorlds DLC releasing at some unnamed time in the future, we can almost sort of gauge around about when this is gonna be. Since we know that the Avatar pack is releasing sometime in October, the next packs following have to be after this time. And what seems to be releasing sometime after October? Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Now that we have a Sonic movie project actually releasing around the time CrossWorlds DLC is, I fully believe that we have a much higher chance of getting a Sonic movie DLC pack, helping promote the film coming soon and also just being cool for fans like they did with Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, I won't lie, this one is random, but Dragon Ball would be pretty cool to see. Now, I know I'm about to get the LARPing accusations, so just let me clear this up. I have not seen Dragon Ball. I am not claiming that I have seen Dragon Ball. I am not a fan of Dragon Ball, and I'm not pretending I am. Don't say I'm LARPing. Anyways, from the tiny little bit that I do know about Dragon Ball, thanks to a little thing called Google. The video game rights are owned by Bandai Namco, the exact same people who own the rights to Pac-Man, someone who's already in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, and someone who even had Sonic feature in their game. It was like a mutual collab between the two. So to say Bandai Namco and Sega are close is something pretty obvious and pretty believable. Also, Dragon Ball has appeared in Fortnite, which means they aren't like Nintendo and hold their IPs very closely, rarely letting them appear in anything else. They're kinda chill about it, and could possibly let Dragon Ball have some fun in CrossWorlds. Despite not being a fan of the franchise, I will admit it would be pretty cool to see it join the game. Now real quick, this one isn't even in my script, but I just wanted to throw this in there. If Sonic is coming to Fortnite, it would be pretty cool to see Fortnite Jonesy come to Sonic Racing. I just think it'd be so funny for Fortnite's first ever kart racer appearance to be a Sonic kart racer, and just like Sonic and Pac-Man, it's a mutual collab. Fortnite gets Sonic and Sonic get Fortnite. However, finally, I believe an addition that could come to the game is Rayman. Now despite myself not really dabbling in too much Rayman, he's had quite the resurgence recently when it comes to video games, that being Rayman Legends Retold and Rayman Origins Enhanced Edition. Now whilst the both of these are remasters of other Rayman games, it's the most attention Lil Bro has got in a while, so seeing him as a part of Sonic Racing CrossWorlds doesn't sound too far-fetched in my opinion. His character design also looks like it would match alongside other Sonic races that are in the game, and Rayman does also seem to have a history of a few racing games, so the crossover would make sense. Whilst this would technically be a first as the two haven't really crossed over before, it would make for a fun little collab. And those are my picks for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds' Wave 2 of DLC. With us already knowing about Godzilla and Evangelion coming to the game, it's exciting to think of the possibilities that they could come up with for a whole nother year of DLC. If you have any ideas of your own that I didn't mention in this video, then of course feel free to leave them in the comments down below, as I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for listening to me yap about Sonic DLC if you've got this far into the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, as I am the #1 Sonic Racing CrossWorlds Wave 2 predictor guy there is. Proven fact, by the way, that is a proven one. And I will see you in a bit. Goodbye!